Hello everyone, welcome to TalentEgg Talks with Career Connections. My name is Mary Barroll and I'm president of TalentEgg. Today we want to introduce you to careers in insurance that you've never even dreamed about. I'm joined by Trevor Buttrum, manager of Career Connections, a division of the Insurance Institute, focused on providing young adults and job seekers with the tools and resources to enhance their careers in insurance. Welcome, Trevor.
Thanks so much for having us, Mary. Really excited to explore these niche areas of the insurance business.
Me too. During our time together, Trevor and I will be joined by insurance professionals from across Canada who will share their expertise and their incredible experiences in the insurance industry. Our first guest joining us today is Ben Eastman. Ben is a senior consultant specializing in farm and agricultural insurance with the Cooperators. He engages in developing agency sales teams to effectively manage what really is an interesting portfolio of insurance products. Welcome, Ben. I wanted to start by asking, what exactly is farm insurance and what kind of coverage does it entail?
Farm insurance is one of our niche coverages here in the Canadian property and casualty space, really designed to meet the needs of agricultural producers across the country. British Columbia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Ontario, Quebec, and our prairie provinces all have very different needs, very different operations, as well as just different performance metrics to ensure that we're providing proper coverage for those clients. We're looking to ensure dairy farms, poultry farms, egg production, something as simple as growing cannabis has become very much a nuanced process, and making sure that we're able to provide coverage for grain and crop and canola producers across the prairie region as well.
Really interesting, Ben. And I'm sure you didn't wake up one day and say, gee, you know what? My career path is clear. I'm going to coach sales teams and put customized solutions into place for the farming and agricultural sector. Could you tell us a little bit about how you've combined your interests, experiences, and skill sets to specialize in this niche area of the business?
It was one of those ones where you don't ever walk in thinking your career is going to take you where I've ended up now. I'm fortunate in my experience prior to my career in insurance. I was born and raised on a dairy farm in Eastern Ontario. I bring some of that background, didn't necessarily want to be a farmer, didn't have the interest in agriculture growing up, and even through university, I chose to study history and pursue a degree in the arts. Came out of university, looked around, thought I wanted something stable. Came out during the previous recession in 2010. Wanted something stable, wanted something that I could commit to and grow to. Started in a small agency firm selling home and auto insurance, and really working my way through the industry and picking up some designations and education pieces.
Ben, what a really interesting career path. I'd really like to ask you, what do you want students and new grads to know about working in farm and agricultural insurance? Are there any misconceptions out there that you want to clear up?
I think the biggest one for me starting was that insurance was never sexy, right? It was never, not investment banking or finance or fintech or whatever, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a huge thing right now. It's not that. It's insurance. It's a foundational industry. It really does provide the pivot point for other operations to springboard their futures forward. It's stable, there's opportunity, and we're a very diversified community. I think I'm very proud of the fact that the insurance industry is open to any and all individuals who want to be here, who want to contribute to Canadian society, Canadian economy, as well as finding a place in, maybe it's not farm insurance, but maybe it's providing cyber insurance to farmers. Maybe it's meeting the needs on the life and the benefit side and providing some sort of other tangible response mechanism for when they need it most. The one thing I would say about my industry is it's just misunderstood. You don't need to be from a farm to understand people. You don't need to be from a farm to be able to open Google or watch a YouTube video or pick up the phone and call somebody and learn about the industry. There's ample opportunity to meet the needs of those clients. And even as farming evolves, it's a highly technological industry. We're going to need more people who have a background in IT, who have a background in computer technology or forecasting analytics, catastrophic review processes, and just better understanding, facilitating for those individuals. We're also going to see an advanced need in cyber and understanding that exposure as it faces not only Canadian farmers, but Canadians in general. So it's a dynamic industry. It's a dynamic profession, far more than I thought it would be coming in to sell home and auto insurance 10 years ago.
Yeah, Ben, every time that you have a chance to talk about sort of the farming and agricultural space, it's clear that for you, it's about the people. It's about, providing a sustainable and vital and also, I think, highly relatable for so many of us product, and making sure that you're basically ensuring that the food supply here in Canada is stable and is accessible to all of us. And I think the other thing that really comes out for me is also that it's future forward. There are so many cool things that are coming out of this, whether it's drones, whether it's, the irrigation systems that, you're needing to understand, and that it's just been a continuous evolution for you. It's really great to see.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things, I think we underestimate the evolution process of not only agricultural business, but business in general. So it's a dynamic front. There's always something new. And I think that's the most exciting part about what we do as insurance professionals, is we get to be on the precipice of new and exciting and terrifying and all those things that come with the industry.
Well, thank you, Ben, for sharing your knowledge and experience in insurance. Another area of expertise that you might never have imagined was a part of the insurance industry is thermography and geomatics. Our next guest leverages enhanced thermographic technology to spot trouble before it happens and prevent risks from turning into potentially catastrophic realities.
Miranda Doan is the team leader, loss control at Farm Mutual Re. She began her insurance journey as a thermograph technician, earned credentials including the Advanced Chartered Insurance Professional and Certified Enterprise Risk Manager designations, and now manages a team of loss control specialists. Welcome, Miranda.
Miranda, how did you end up in this really quite fascinating area of the insurance industry?
Well, I ended up here by chance. I was a career changer. So I worked in food manufacturing in the maintenance and the engineering department about 12 years ago. And that company closed its doors. So what happened after that was I had this unique set of skills that I had gained there, which is thermography, which is my passion. And I was able to apply that to loss control in the insurance industry. I was very fortunate to get a job almost across the road from where I lived in a rural community. And it was just kind of fate or luck, and I was able to put those skills to use there, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Yeah, and what an interesting kind of story that the industry found you, and now you found your career and a way to apply that passion. Can you tell us a little bit more about thermography and the role it plays in risk assessment and loss control?
Thermal imaging, this is my thermography camera, and it's a camera. It's really based on science and thermodynamics. And the camera is only a tool. And we have many tools that we use. This is my favorite one. So with this tool, we have the potential to look at electrical, mechanical, buildings, and find deficiencies. We can find things that are going to break down. We can find things that are possibly going to start on fire. And there's so much potential. And it benefits not only ourselves as the insurer, but the insured. So I would say what I call the whens, not ifs. Those are the big, hot, scary things that we find, usually in electrical equipment. They happen kind of few and far between, and they benefit everybody. But a lot of the time, we're finding things that are just going to break down and cause a severe inconvenience to our insureds. A lot of the times it's an inefficiency. Sometimes we can find water, moisture. I have found bees and rodents in walls and identified those kinds of things. Stuff that you don't know is happening that you can't see with your naked eye. You can see with the camera well in advance, and you can mitigate those things from happening.
Wow, it's like having X-ray vision. That is so fascinating. Any words of advice for engineering and technology students interested in getting into loss control or risk management?
Yes, I would say absolutely go for it. job security, work-life balance. You could have any kind of lifestyle. If you like living in a rural area, you might start out like myself, working in the mutual systems. So I'm working in a mutual in a nice rural area. If you love the city and being downtown, you might work for a stock company. There's something for everyone in it. I would say work on your technical skills. Most insurers, a lot of people that have come up with me have started out just with those technical skills and no insurance background. And insurers are really willing to give the training and help you get the experience you need.
Miranda, there's just so much to cover, and you've done such a great job of giving us that snippet, that glance into the way that you leverage technology, the way that you leverage your background and your expertise to be able to really prevent and spot those potential risks and mitigate them for your clients. So thanks so much for sharing that with us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Miranda, for that really cool demonstration about that fascinating technology. Our next guest is Stephen Morrow, the Vice President of Insurance Operations at Hub International, where his primary focus is on integrating new business opportunities at the Hub Customer Central Division.
On the surface, sales, service, and operations may sound like they would be pretty straightforward, but as Stephen will share with us, expectations of insurance consumers are changing rapidly. Digital technologies are being put into place to enhance the customer experience, and new products are being introduced on a regular basis.
Well, let's kick things off with a look at how the customer experience is evolving in the insurance industry. What does it look like right now, and where do you expect it to be headed in the future?
Right now is an interesting time. I think if you go to a lot of traditional bricks and mortar brokerages, you'll still see things being done the way they have been for years, where you walk in off the street, you meet with a broker, you sit down, you sign papers, and away you go. In our office, we are a national contact center, and that is changing. We actually have a term called the phygital customer experience, and that's really a hybrid between physical, where you may be talking to somebody on the phone or through an email, or digital, where you're online getting your quote and purchasing your policy either all online or a mix of talking to you on the phone and email or web chat or whatever we have. But it's definitely, we're in this transition from that old fashioned, you got to go talk to somebody and sit across a desk, to fully digital online.
And on that same vein, Stephen, talk to us a little bit about digital strategy and analytics. How are these tools shaping how the insurance industry is engaging with its customers?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if you really, again, think back to that traditional model, if you talk to a producer in, again, your traditional brokerage and said, how long does it take to issue a policy? How many times do you talk to a client? They'll give you some anecdotes of, well, I see this many clients a week roughly, and I might see them for that long, and it takes about this time. In our operation, we are all about big data. We have a full business intelligence team that all that we are doing, we are looking at every life cycle, how many touches, how long it takes to quote a policy, to sell a policy, to upload a policy, all of the service. It's analytics all the way around. So from that first call to the email, through all of the servicing of the policy, big data is the future of where this industry is going.
That certainly seems like a trend across a lot of industries. Stephen, what are some of the new and emerging products you're helping to integrate into your offerings at Hub? And what trends should students and new grads with an interest in insurance stay on top of?
I think the products in most of the insurance industry has been there for a long time. And I think what we're seeing is the evolution of those products. Some of them are becoming more of a commodity, where, auto insurance is auto insurance. So do I really need to sit down and talk to somebody about it, or do I just need to purchase it, right? And that's where technology allows us to move into that digital experience, that I can, as an end consumer, go online and purchase that product. If I'm a student looking at insurance, I would say, insurance is a product, it's a service, but really no different from your experiences where you may have traditionally gone to the grocery store or a retail store to purchase, your gifts or your food. Are you doing that all in person these days, or are you doing it online, or is it a little bit of both? How does that experience happen? Well, it's not just magic, right? There are people that are setting all of these products and all of these processes up. So in that insurance industry, again, it's not just come into my office and sit down and have that conversation. It's go online, purchase online. The reports that a broker may have to run to see your driving history, can we do that online? Can that be automated? All of that technology, all of that forward thinking, and how do we review and analyze all of those interactions? That's where we're going. So I may be interested in insurance. I'm in insurance. I've been in insurance for a couple dozen years, but my day is filled with technology, web apps, developers, product development. It's about looking towards the future.
And Stephen, I love how you've been able to paint that picture of not only is it the tangible sort of things that we want to ensure, but it's about that concierge level of experience that we want to create for the insurance customer, that they're able to get what they want when they need it, but also have access to that trusted advisor on the other end, should things go awry or be a little bit more complex, and knowing that we always have their back.
Absolutely. I think we're all in that same boat that if it's 2:00 in the morning and I want to order something off of Amazon, I want to be able to go on Amazon and order it and it shows up at my door the next day. And I think the insurance consumer is moving in that same direction, that I want to be able to do it on my time and I want it to be customized to me. But on the same note, you're absolutely right. I don't know about you, but when I was getting into this industry, I knew nothing about insurance. And even after being in the industry for 20 years, there's still lots of stuff that, I kind of, wait, what is that all about again? And you're constantly leaning on coworkers to learn more. So no matter whether you're new to the insurance industry or you've had an insurance policy for 50 years, you still need somebody you want to talk to. And although there can be bots that answer lots of general questions, you still need that trusted insurance advisor, because there's always something that doesn't fit the mold.
Well, thank you, Stephen, for that incredible insight into the future of insurance. Whether you're at a sporting event, meeting with an accountant to file your taxes, or even marveling at some of the new buildings downtown, chances are you aren't thinking about insurance. But believe it or not, it has a role to play in all of these things. And our next guest will tell us how it all fits together.
Candice Beatrice is a managing director with Hub International. She has over a decade in helping clients to protect themselves against liability. And she has some really interesting perspectives and experience to share as a result.
Candice, let's dive right in. What would you say are the coolest risks that you have had the opportunity to source insurance coverage for? And what about the oddest or more obscure?
If you ask my family, they would say that the coolest risks I've ever insured were an NHL team and an international brewery. But if you look to your own interest, that's where you would find the coolest risks. And for me, that's been insuring a Canadian landmark, a really elegant fashion retailer, and media companies. But in terms of the most obscure risks, I've had many. I've insured explosive manufacturers, a dating app, a gossip blogger, and even a celebrity hairstylist. So it's been varied and unique.
Candice, I love when we get the chance to talk to you, because you just surface so many cool things. We also recognize, though, that protecting against liability is not all fun and games. What role do you play for your clients in helping them to get the coverage they need to practice and deliver services to their target audiences?
I think you have to become a consultant to your client and learn everything you can about their business by listening to their stories and to their background. By doing that, then you can help them in 3 ways. You can help them prevent claims by giving them loss prevention advice, reviewing their contracts. You can then sell them the appropriate coverage and limits. And lastly, you are certainly, as a consultant, their first line of fire when there's a major claim. They always happen to happen on a weekend or Sunday when they have a cyber attack. And even if you're not an expert, you're the person they trust. So by being a consultant, you're there for them from the beginning to the end of the process.
Candice, what kind of skills and experience would it be helpful for students and new grads to have if they're interested in becoming a broker specializing in an area like yours?
I think you need to be curious. I always say a little bit nosy about other people's business and to learn about different worlds than you've grown up with. You need to be a great listener, stop yourself from speaking and really engage with the client and hear how their business grew from their perspective. And lastly, you need to be empathetic. You really need to care about them just as much as you do for yourself and your company. And with those skills combined, you have a great opportunity to work in insurance. But I always like to conclude, the most important thing you can do is transfer your interest into this line of business. So if you studied film, we'd love to hire you in our entertainment department. If you're an engineer, there are so many opportunities for you in technology or in construction, or if you studied law, we represent those types of firms, or you can help in claims. So you can translate what you love into insurance, and it's just another angle to get to where you want to go.
I love how you've brought the human element of empathy and, the skills of really listening and understanding what your clients need, but also combine that with the passions, the interests, and the connection points that we can make, and bringing our expertise and also the things that we just get excited about into our day-to-day reality at work. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Candice, for painting that vivid picture and for all your excellent advice. Our final guest is Aryan Roy. He joined the insurance industry in 2015 and is already regarded as a subject matter expert in commercial risk. He's a senior underwriter at Intact Insurance.
Commercial lines is a vast area of insurance. It encompasses products from anything having to do with the operation of a business. When working with brokers to put the right insurance coverage into place for their clients, Aryan needs to be resourceful and thorough in his approach. Essentially, he needs to know a little bit about everything related to the businesses he insures, as not asking the right question could leave the client with a costly hole in their coverage.
Aryan, as Trevor noted, you needed to have quite a broad perspective in your work of assessing and rejecting risks on behalf of your company. What are some of the types of businesses you've had the opportunity to insure, and how did you learn about them?
I would like to start by saying that commercial insurance is a little bit of a different special, as I say, an area of insurance. It's much different than you would see in a personal lines or an auto, in the fact that commercial businesses are really complicated to handle and arrange insurance for, because you need to check for multiple areas to make sure that you are selecting the quality risk. For example, if you're thinking about businesses, it could be a professional liability insurance for a pharmacist, or it could be a commercial general liability insurance for a grocery store, or it could even be a building insurance for an apartment building that you're currently living in. So those are some of the kinds of businesses that come to Intact for insurance. For the learning part, I would say that, I have a 3-step mantra that I have been following since I started working in the insurance industry. So my 3-step is, first, to plant your foot firmly. Second is be confident. And third is to dig deep as much as possible. What I mean by all three is that, you have to be confident in what you're looking at. You have to plant your feet. That means you have to be very desirable to reach your goal. Third part is you have to dig deep. So you have to research, you have to analyze, you need to figure it out what you want to do with it. You'll be amazed on some of the businesses that come to me for seeking insurance. Like, you could go to a grocery store like No Frills or Costco, and you can pretty much go into the business while shopping, and you can see like how the day-to-day activities are and what people do there and what are the products they sell, how the premises are, etc., etc. So you can technically see what exposures, what we call insurance people as risks, which technically means like the things that are dangerous in the risk and the things that are good about it. So those kind of areas you can just see, by just visiting them.
And along those same veins, Aryan, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the skills and expertise do you recommend that someone with an interest in commercial insurance develop before getting their start in this area of the business?
I would say there are a few. The first one, and probably the most important one, is the attention to details. because when you're seeing something new, when you're seeing a business first time, you have to make sure you're covering your grounds. You have to make sure that you're looking in and out of any, say, contracts or the submissions or what the person is doing. So every detail is very important. If you skip even one detail from it, then it could lead to a catastrophic error in the future, because when we are looking at risk right now to insure it, we're just concentrating on the present. We don't know what's going to happen 20 years from now. So that's definitely one. Second is being a quick problem solver. Now, by problem solving, I don't mean like just solving regular problems. You have to approach it in a creative way, like be offering creative solutions. Finally, I would say you have to be a strong negotiator as well, because when you have to talk like any other businesses to other people. So you could be business partners, it could be your colleagues, it could be people in your community, it could be brokers, it could be anyone. With insurance industry, I've seen that with hard work and dedication, you really can reach the crest of success. So all you need is just dedication and integrity, and you can reach the stars.
Maybe, Aryan, you could talk about what some of the emerging areas of commercial risk that students and new grads might want to have their eye on if they're thinking about a career in insurance.
Boy, do I got an exciting one too on this. In these era, at least in the last, I would say 10 years, technology has literally taken over the entire planet. And it's like really shaping our community and the way we deal with each other. For example, if you're thinking about, like, say, the previous example, like a grocery store, when we used to look at pre-COVID, right, we would say like maybe 80% of their business is through a storefront and maybe 20% of it is online. And now, post-COVID, it could be 100% online. There's no storefront. So this is a big change, right? So previously, maybe when there is 100% online, we could have, declined it because it's not an ideal P&C kind of risk. But now we can accept it because that's the new norm. So the P&C sector is like it's like an environment that keeps changing all the time. It's very dynamic, and it just gives you that thrill every day that there's new things to look for, and there are new things, like a arrays of areas of industry that just opens up, right? So that being said, some of the things I feel in the technology side is, or the emerging side would be, the drones that are coming up these days, or it could be the automatic or electric vehicles that are there. There are robotics as well. So anything related to technology, anything related to internet. Previously it was just an extension of our regular P&C side, but now it's kind of like taking its own place, taking its own department.
Thanks so much, Aryan, for sharing sort of that insight with us. And, as you were speaking, staying on top of the game changers, really, whether it's a global pandemic, emerging technologies, cybersecurity, climate change, what have you. All of these are things that are impacting the way that we do business as an industry and have ramifications for the commercial space. So thanks again for sharing those insights.
That brings us to the end of our TalentEgg Talks with Career Connections. Trevor, thanks so much for helping us understand that the opportunities in insurance are so vast. From sports to geomatics and agriculture, there are so many potential areas to build your career. I certainly learn new things, and it's great to know that there's so much opportunity for students and new grads in the insurance industry.
It sure is. The inspiring stories and terrific advice and just really interesting experiences from our ambassadors will be beneficial to all students and new grads seeking a career in this industry.
And thank you to our guests for helping us understand there's more to insurance than meets the eye. And thank you to our audience for joining us. Visit our website, talentegg.ca, to find out more information about career connections and the insurance industry. This video will be available on TalentEgg's YouTube channel and social media. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more TalentEgg Talks. See you next time.